1991, I went to Burma on a trip with my husband, who's also co-producing this with Virginie, and Suu Kyi had been under house arrest then for a year, and I was very struck by the country, by how demoralized people were, by how difficult their lives were, and by the sense of hope that they had invested in Suu Kyi, and that was really the only thing that seemed to be keeping them going. So I always watched her story from afar, and about 4 years ago, I thought it would be interesting to try and find a way of bringing her story alive, because she had been under house arrest for a very long time by then. There was no movement forward, as this lady here has just said, in Burma. And I thought it would be very interesting to try and find out more about the human aspect of her story.
I think when I first received Rebecca's script, I told my agent, I want to meet them right away. And I got on the plane, I went to London, and we met. And because the story was just so moving, because we know more about the political side and the problems that they have, but we don't know about this incredible love story, this soulmate that she had, who did everything possible to ensure her safety, to, when you love someone, you don't try and change them. And I think he always knew what she was about. And in fact, when they first got married, this was one thing that she said to him: if ever my country needed me, you would have to, support that. And that was what he did right until the day he died.
When we did this scene, the most difficult scene for Michelle, which is the speech at Shwedagon in Burmese, and she was very nervous because she learned the speech for 4 months. And on the stage, there is like 15 members of the NLD, which is the National League for Democracy, and all these actors, or not actors, in fact, they're Burmese. They're all 60 years old, and she did a first take in Burmese, the entire speech. It was very amazing, but on stage there is like 3 or 4 Burmese who was crying, and I came next to them and they said, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, but 20 years ago I was in the crowd watching her from the crowd, so I'm very touched to be next to her today."
This was incredibly challenging to remain true to the integrity of the piece, and since it's an ongoing story involving highly sensitive issues, and that we had to be very careful to get the tone right in the filmmaking and the writing and the performances, I felt a great deal of responsibility for this particular film.
If you look at all her interviews that she's always done, and even to date, she always stresses that she's been well treated by them. All the time that she's been under house arrest, she just needs to start a dialogue. So it was in an incredible position to be in, and I did ask her, I said, it will come out one day that we are both sitting here, and she said, this is a family visit. I was there with my brother, and she was there with Kim, and she said, this is a very nice family visit, and that was what it was.